Hello and welcome to Game Joy, a podcast where I, your host, co-host, Jamie, and my other co-host,
Jonny Malks.
talk about the joy that games bring us.
You caught me off guard there. Off guard. You caught me off guard there.
I just saw you about to do the intro and thought, why not mix it up for a change?
Well, this is electric.
Agreed.
Go ahead and introduce us.
Dang, I thought there's more to it?
I mean, just like launch into a topic.
Oh.
Entertain people.
Oh, we're here to entertain people?
Yeah. Podcasting, I hear a lot of seasoned veteran podcasters say, it's not just talking, okay?
It's entertaining.
It's entertainment, because otherwise people could just listen to themselves talk or have a conversation with someone. We're supposed to be funny, engaging, smart, competent, aware.
And speaking of entertainment, we were just out on a walk with our dog, Cat, and we saw a truck for a clown business.
Yeah, but it looked like it was a dilapidated truck. Like, it didn't look like it was in service.
Which made it extra creepy because clowns just feel like this ethereal entity that you hear about, but you never actually see or know exists in the world. And so to see a remnant of that entity
Of clown culture.
was really something. Could have been something out of a horror game.
All right. Topic number 1 checked off. Go ahead with topic number 2.
Topic number 2. Well, I guess we should just jump into what we're about.
Topic number 2 checked off. All right. On to topic number 3.
Topic 3. Well, we had a yummy dinner.
Topic number 3. All good. 4. Hopefully it's got legs, because those last 3 have been woo.
Jonny, I think this happened maybe after the last podcast episode that we had recorded. You recently got yourself a full-on PC build. I feel like maybe last podcast episode you talked about the potato build you were kind of working on. Maybe not. We can talk more about that here, but tell me more about how you're liking your PC. You've been playing some different games on it. You've been jumping around to some games that maybe you couldn't play or didn't feel like your computer had the capability to play prior. What have you been up to?
Yeah, mainly I have just been able to like sit down and play a lot of the Windows only games, which is still a surprising amount of games these days. A lot are not Mac compatible, and that was like the most powerful computer I had before this. But I got like a 380 GPU, so RTX, so it's not the most modern, but it can still play the majority of modern AAA games, which is awesome. And I got it for a fair price in this wild era of computer prices being super jacked up. So that was nice. And yeah, I got a desk set up that doesn't interfere with your streaming and recording setup now that we've moved. So it's a real boon for my game playing. And I'm trying to play more like games from my backlog that I just didn't feel excited about playing on my Steam Deck, but then also trying to play more demos and like little games that aren't as set up for like Steam Deck controls as much. So for Indie Game Garden, my other podcast, I played this playtest game that's still in development by a Swedish developer. It's called Chesto. It's like a little cozy chess adventure where you like get pieces that are like he made up the pieces for so you start with like regular chess pieces, but then he made up a lot of different pieces that you can get by just like exploring and clicking around the environments.
Oh, that's
and then
cool.
you like play people in this town with these like jacked up chess pieces, and it's really beautifully illustrated, I think. And it reminds me of a game from my childhood called Fritz and Chester Learn How to Play Chess, and that was like my whole childhood. and it brought back a lot of nostalgia. So I played that. I played a really cool deck building game. A demo just came out for it. It's called Burn With Me, and it's like a really nicely illustrated kind of demonic deck building indie game where you it's pretty unique. You're not like battling anything per se. You're just trying to reach like a score. So imagine like you have it split into chapters, and the demo is just chapter 1, and then each chapter has like 20 floors, if you will, and to climb each floor you have to basically get a certain amount of points, and you're placing these cards on a pentagram, so you get to place 5 cards, and they each have a number on them. I've seen numbers from like 1 through 15 to this point, and usually the number that you're trying to reach is anywhere from like 15 to 40. And what you have to do is like just place the cards, and they have abilities. So like some cards will have no abilities, so it's just like 7. You get 7 towards your total for that floor, and then you only can place 4 more cards. But then some will be like, for every neighbor that has an odd number, you get plus 4 more. So it's like a 4 card, but then if you place it between 2 odd numbered cards, you get like 12 by placing it. And so it's basically just like, imagine that, and then obviously it ramps up in like difficulty as you try to reach higher numbers and get more synergies. And then there's different mechanics, like when you draw a card is permanently burned, so you at random, so you have to like be careful when you're drawing and make sure your deck is synergized. And it's a simple concept that I think makes the game, which I think is made by a solo developer, like it doesn't make the scope overly large, and it was a really nice package for the demo. So
you enjoyed it.
I'll be checking out the full game for sure. Yeah,
nice, because I know cool. You're into deck builders, so I wondered if that means you might be harder on it, and if it like lived up to those standards, or if you enjoy the genre enough to, even if it's not perfect or something spectacular, that you just still enjoy playing a good deck builder.
Yeah, I would say I have not yet met a deck builder that I like dislike.
I see.
There have definitely been deck builders that are less memorable, but I generally adore them if they're not like super janky, and I tend to not play ones that are super janky. So this one was cool just because it was unique. Like you're not battling stuff, and I like the
that does sound pretty unique.
Where it's like a professor is teaching his students this like forbidden art of summoning devils, because each card is like a little imp that you're summoning. Yeah. And then each time you like each floor reward is you pick the next imp that you're going to summon, and that's how you add cards to your deck. So it's
interesting.
So it's like you get to pick between 3, where it's like 1 is just 7 but no ability, 1 is like you get +2 for each even neighbor, and 1 is like 15 but it burns immediately when you play it, so like you only get to play it once, and that's why it's such a high number. Like that's just an example of the spread, and you'll pick one of those, and then if you win the next floor you get that card in your deck, and so on and so forth. So
that's fascinating.
It's cool.
We love a game that does things different within its genre. We love a game that has a little story integrated into it, or at least I do, and I love a game about summoning devils.
It's called Burn With Me.
Burn With Me.
So yeah, go play the demo.
Fire Walk With Me.
I had a good time with it. Twin Peaks reference. It's not very Twin Peaks-y of a game. I mean, it's fine. It's more... I got more, honestly, even though I don't like to mention Harry Potter because J.K. Rowling's an asshole. It gave me more like the dark arts vibes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that a newly released game?
Yeah, the demo just came out like this week.
Nice.
You're really on the cutting edge if you're playing Burn With Me.
I'm glad you're having some good demo experience, because I feel like I tried a few new release demos and just was pretty disappointed in the games and what they were for, despite the games seeming to be getting good reviews and such. So I'm glad that's not being the experience for you, but I think you're maybe a little more
discerning.
Perfect word than perhaps I am. And I think I would adhere too closely to the review rating for newly released games. And while sometimes that is helpful, I think also a lot of people who are playing a newly released game tend to be more forgiving of them, perhaps. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm glad you're having some good luck with some of the demos you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, I find it like sometimes frustrating to play demos. Obviously, demos don't have like reviews associated with them, so it's kind of just a shot in the dark, or like seeing something on Blue Sky and like wish listing it, and then later it comes up and you're like, oh yeah, this looks interesting. It's sometimes frustrating to play them because they can be janky, but I also think it's like cool because your opinion isn't like immediately afflicted with like a bias that you see from like the Steam reviews, which like usually is the case. And honestly, these days I'm like not playing a Steam game if it's below like 90%, which is kind of wild, especially considering that like when you think about it, the folks leaving reviews are like, they're inherently biased because they either disliked it enough to leave a review or liked it enough to leave a review, and like you're missing a lot of the minutia in between. So it's good to figure out for yourself, and I think like certainly it's a no-brainer if you're at all interested in a game and it has a demo, like play it, see if you like it. And Steam has, which we recently talked about, a very forgiving return policy, so you can even buy the game, if you play it for less than 2 hours and return it within 2 weeks, they pretty much always accept the return. And I've applied for returns on games that I like haven't played but bought like months and months and months ago, and they've still accepted it. So
oh really?
They're very lenient. So I would say if you're on Steam and you're curious about something and you have the funds, like buy it, see if you like it. And if you like it, you'll be doing the dev a big favor by buying it. So that's great.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I have not looked into or used the return policy enough, and there's certainly been some games I could have done that before. But, you know, at the end of the day, I like to at least think that I'm helping support someone who put a lot of effort and love into something, even if it wasn't something that ended up being something that I enjoyed.
This episode is really, I know I've said this before, so don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's electric. And I know people
real focused here.
Really excited about hearing us.
I know you've been playing a kind of a variety of games, or at least I feel like I've seen you bopping around some different games. We heard about the demo you just played, so I'll go ahead and share one of my gaming experiences recently, which, as we know, I've been playing Blueprints, I've been playing FF10. Those are still honestly pretty ongoing, but I did, on my streaming side of things, take a break from Blueprints to try out a newly released game by Amanita Design. Do you think that's how it's pronounced?
Amanita is actually a type of mushroom. Yeah,
which is really cute. Their logo has the mushroom in it. But a game called Phenopolis. And Amanita Design, I think, has been releasing games for quite a long time. I believe they're known for kind of a variety of different games. I want to say one was called like
Machinarium.
It's not Machinarium?
I just think of it like Machina.
Oh.
But maybe I'm wrong.
They're based, the studio is based in the Czech Republic, which is fun.
There you go.
I'm just seeing that right now. But I have not played any of their other games, although I feel inclined to try some of the more popular ones now. But I played their newly released game, Phenopolis, and really loved it. It felt like just a short breath of fresh air type game. It's kind of a story-driven puzzle point and click game where you're playing as a character named Felix, not Felix, Felix.
Okay.
In a world where basically like a dystopian world, there's a dictator, everyone's controlled by the dictator, and then Felix breaks out of the system and helps try to free the world.
Yeah.
Tater. Exactly.
Mr.
Exactly.
Tater.
But I feel as though the experience was mostly, or at least I was in most awe with the art. So it was all, I guess I don't know if I would say it's all hand drawn, but a lot of the art, I don't know if all the art, but at least a lot of the art was made out of cardboard. It was like cardboard painting and things that the designer created and then they scanned and put it into the game. So all the art was very unique and very beautiful, and the way they still incorporated movement in all of that with the gameplay was really cool. And then the music and the sound design in the game was also very incredible. So it felt like a very immersive art experience where you're looking at this beautiful art, you're integrated with the story, beautiful sound design and music, and you kind of move through these different scenes and puzzles. And I would say the puzzles, they were a bit confusing at times. It definitely was a lot of me just trying a bunch of random stuff until something happened. I didn't feel like there was a ton of knowing exactly what to do, like being able to piece it together and like see what you're supposed to do before you actually do any of it. It's just a lot of trying. But I think that was the intention of the game, because there's a lot to interact with, and there's unique things that happen with the story, the characters, and the art depending on what you interact with and what you do, and you kind of are meant to see and experience it all. So it definitely feels more like puzzles where you are just supposed to see everything and then you happen across the solution eventually. I would say the story was cute and entertaining, and the gameplay was entertaining, but it definitely felt like more of an experience for the art and the immersion in the art. But it felt like a very refreshing experience for me to have after having been kind of knee deep in two games for a very long time, and those two games being very distinctive, and Phonopolis felt like a very different type of game to experience in between those. And it was very beautiful. I loved it.
A visual spectacle.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know you said I should play it, so I should play it.
I think you should, considering that it's in our shared library now, I think you should at least open it and take in the art and hear some of the initial music, because there's a lot to see, at least in that first little part, even if you don't finish the whole story. And I think, you know, this comes up a lot, but in the age of AI and whatnot, it's just so nice to play a game that was so handcrafted.
The age of AI, the age of odds, as Sufjan would say.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll come out with a Age of I at some point.
Hope not. Jamie, what else have you been playing? You started Outer Wilds yesterday.
I did, but first I want to bounce back to you and
bounce it to me. Popcorn.
Yeah. What else you've been playing?
What else I've been playing? Well, mainly outside of the spiel I gave before, the other game I've brought to the show today is Demonschool, which is a recent, I believe last year, tactics RPG. A lot of people at launch were comparing it to Persona because it's set in kind of like a college environment, and you have like a little group of pals, and you can level up your like friendship meter, and that helps you in battle. But I would say it's vaguely Persona-like, but it's very much its own thing.
Which does remind me how often you remind me that comparing games to other games can be a slippery slope. I think it can be often that games remind us of other games in setting or characters or scenery or whatnot, but I feel like more often than not, most games are unique and standalone.
I mean, it's that creative platitude where it's like if you gave the same prompt or even the exact same like general story to like thousands of different writers, you would get 1,000 different novels, you know? Because like even if you have all of the beats laid out for you, everyone's going to write it in a different way and like characterize the characters differently and all these things. So on the surface, if you said like, you know, unique looking teens fighting evil in a like classroom kind of like calendar based setting, you'd be like, oh, that's Persona and Demonschool. But Persona's a lot more like,
and maybe Dawn to Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with fiction. It's like if you boil things down to that, there's very little. There's nothing that's unique at this point, and everything is everything else. But Demonschool is very much its own thing. The combat's cool. It plays very much in small numbers, so you attack and you do 1 damage. It's not like you're doing like a bajillion hit points. It's like you attack and you do 1 damage. Enemies have like between 2 and 5 health. Bosses have like 10 health. That kind of stuff.
That's fascinating because it does make me think about how obscure sometimes HP and numbers are in games, and how necessary that is for nuance between attacks and enemies, where maybe most systems could be taken down a few tense places.
I really like the small numbers. Yeah, I mean the game feels like it was just very competently made by a development team that like knew what they wanted and got there. I actually listened to an interview. The like lead designer was on Into the Aether pretty recently, and they were just talking about how like with tactics RPG folks, it's like people are very passionate, like the fan base for like Final Fantasy Tactics and like Jeanne d'Arc and all these classic tactics games are like very like they know what they want, and if they don't get it they complain, and so this guy was saying like it's really interesting how he tried when designing the game to like took what he loved about tactics games and put it all together, and like for some people that worked and for some people that really didn't work, and he was saying like that's fine, that's just how it's always going to be with games, and any media with entrenched fan bases. But yeah, combat's cool, small numbers, it's really it's interesting, especially from an indie standpoint where it's like it's not real time, so it's not like you click a square and say attack here and then it attacks and then you're on to the next move. It's like a planning phase and then an execution phase, so you can like do your turn as much as you want and like rewind as much as you want, and then only when you're out of all your action points and you click like okay execute, it like shows it all at once in like an animated scene, which is really cool.
That is
so
cool.
Like you're not seeing like the fight animations happen during that planning phase where your character's actually moving around. It's only like when you click play and then it's like a little movie that you see like your characters doing that.
Love that.
Yeah, I think you would really like it. So combat's cool. Outside of combat, like it's pretty linear, but there's like little side quests, fishing minigame, gotta have it, and a lot of different ways to like level up your character's friendship meters and stuff in cute little scenes.
A fishing minigame is a good indicator of a good game.
Yeah, I mean the fishing minigame reminded me a lot of Dredge, oddly enough, which is like because you're fishing these like demon fish out, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean it's really good. I thought it was cool also because they kind of play on the trope of like that you're probably seeing a lot in Final Fantasy X, where like all the video game characters in these types of video games are like really earnest and like let's go, power of friendship. So like the lead character Faye is like that, but then all the characters around her are like, what the hell are you doing? But she never, like one thing that I really like about it is like she never lets that get to her, and she's like very much herself, and she's like, I'm going to fight demons. And initially her friend Namako is like, what? Like there's no such thing as demons. And she's like, no, I promise. And like even now I'm like 5 hours into the game, like some of the other characters are like, okay, like we did just fight a lot of weird looking rats, but like they're not demons. And yeah, I just think it's like it's really well done. I don't think it's gonna be like your favorite game of all time if you play it, but I think it's like it's the type of game that every little minute you play is worth your time, which is I think the sign of a very well-made game, so can't say enough good about it.
Yeah, and that I think definitely makes the game worth the recommendation. I'll be curious to hear how you continue to enjoy it, because we did talk about feeling like I would enjoy a game like that with the tactical side and whatnot. So I might want to give it a try after you've played more, and if you continue to have a good rec of it. It sounds delightful.
Yeah, I'll continue to keep you posted. Tell me about this Outer Wilds experience.
I don't know really if I will have a lot to say right now, but I did just start up Outer Wilds, which I know has been a beloved game for many for a little while since it came out, and I haven't played it before or even really know much about it. I'd seen maybe some screenshots of art, and then I think I was aware that there was some time loop mechanic in the game, but that was pretty much all I knew, kind of all I still know. So yeah, I did my first play of it the other day. It is funny jumping into that game while playing or having had played so much Final Fantasy X at this point, like JRPG style, because in FF10 there's so many nooks and crannies to explore that reward you with items, and I do think Outer Wilds will likewise reward you, but it took me maybe longer than an hour to get through just the initial tutorial part, because it's pretty open in you being able to jump up on things and jump in and explore different areas, and there were never any secrets in any of those areas. Like, you're not finding items or finding objects, but you can still go to those areas. So it took me so long to go to the tutorial because I was just in max curiosity, wanting to test the limits of the game, wanting to see if there were any little things or hidden areas, hidden secrets in places. And it was fun. I did actually have a lot of fun in the tutorial, pushing some of the limits and testing some of the stuff. I didn't find any really like cool secret items or things like that, but I do think that mindset will pay off with the rest of the game. I'm curious how I'll do with the game and jumping back into a game that is so much more open, because once you get through the tutorial, at least as of right now, I don't know if it will change at all, you kind of just have this whole open area to explore, and it seems like you can pick up information and explore things in just whatever path and direction and order that you want, and that can be very overwhelming to me and can actually really crush a lot of my creative spirit, because I get overwhelmed by, like, I'm a person who, I've got that completionist in me. I want to see everything. I want to discover everything. So then when it gets to be too much, I go opposite end of the spectrum, and I just am like, I don't need to see it. I don't need it. Let's not go there. We won't bother. And then I end up missing stuff. So I'm curious how I'm going to do with this game in that regard, if it'll feel too open or if I'll still feel like I can narrow down a path for myself to follow and sort of create my own linearity. Linear. Right? That's the word? Linearity. Linear. I'll make it linear for myself.
There you go. Simplify.
I play games. I don't speak good. I do a podcast and I stream and record, but I don't speak too good. Sometimes. How's
the audience of the streaming and your community going?
Really good. Yeah, it's been lovely. It's fun. It's fun getting to play some games that there are people who just love so dearly, because you get so many people who come in and are so excited to just see someone play a game that they love for the very first time, and to get to sort of live vicariously through that, I think, and get to experience the same awe and joy and love that they experienced the first time through someone else. So it's always really sweet to get people popping in like that who are just excited for a first time play. And it's also cool getting to play games that a lot of the other people who tend to frequent the streams have already played, because it's fun to get to discover something and then get to chat with them about it, or even the people who haven't played stuff to get to experience something new alongside those people as well. So yeah, it's been really lovely.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Do you have any more game related things to chat about tonight?
Those are probably the biggest updates, but I mean, I think just kind of going back to reflections on joy and gaming and whatnot. We've been really busy. We moved to a new place, so it's been a pretty stressful and hectic last week or two, and I probably one of the first things I did with unpacking was trying to get my gaming room set up. And I think yesterday, yeah, first time streaming or doing something since we moved to the new place. That was for Outer Wilds. And then today I did a recording for Final Fantasy X. And I was reflecting today on how calming and grounding almost it felt to play games after such a hectic time. And I think there's a side where you kind of wonder, like, should I be doing this? Do I have the time for this? Should there be more important things that I do in this moment? Because we've had so much going on. There are other things I could do, more unpacking I could do. And I think, we've talked about the concept of how important play is in our lives. And I think just feeling how calming it was to sit down and play those games in the past couple of days is just kind of another little reminder of that, of just like taking that moment to play and find some joy when there's other stuff going on. And it was just, it just felt like a very stark realization of that, or a really clear moment of that feeling. Yeah,
that's beautiful to hear. I think it's a good distillation. Again, we've said this before, of like why we do the show. It's something I definitely am trying to get back to too, as like responsibilities pile up or like things feel like time limited. It is important to like carve out that time for yourself, because you can spend like hours and hours gaming, but if your mind is like somewhere else, I think it brings a lot less joy than say like 1 hour spent immersed. So yeah.
And we've talked about this before too, where I do think a lot of times the like streaming some of the games or recording some of the games too, like helps me actually just be more focused and solely present with that gaming. And then especially on the streaming side too, like feeling like it's also a moment to connect with people and share in some community, I think adds to the fulfillment. It becomes not just about myself and what I'm doing, but also becomes about this experience and this thing that I'm sharing with others and connecting with others over. And I do think that definitely adds to a lot of the fulfillment and calmness and gratitude I feel as I'm gaming. But yeah, it definitely, again, speaks to just that commitment to sitting down and being present in that moment, and how much of a difference that can make as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's a good kind of like values driven reason to be sitting down at the desk.
Yeah.
And as far as, it's not called bargain bin anymore, so I don't know what we're going to call this segment, but as far as a binnable moment or a just something else that I've been finding joy in, just want to shout out Robert Jackson Bennett, the author. You've been reading The Tainted Cup, and now what's the second one called? I don't even know if you remember the title of the book you're reading.
Is it like something thorn?
No.
Bramble?
No. But
oh gosh.
The Tainted Cup is like a mystery series about like a kind of Sherlock and Watson style characters. And then I just started reading the first book in the Foundry Side series, which is called Foundry Side. And he doesn't really miss. Quite a good author. So if you like fantasy, I'm not even the biggest fantasy person, but if you just like kind of a well-told story with humor and action and all sorts of mischief thrown in, Robert Jackson Bennett, good author.
A drop of corruption.
I
had to Google it.
There you go.
But yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed it. I've been going through a bit of a reading drought where I had maybe 5 books on my bedside stand that I had just read part of and then wasn't able to get myself to finish. And I finished A Tainted Cup. And that
The Tainted
Cup. I promise I read it.
A taint.
I promise. I finished it, and that felt like a big moment.
Yeah.
For me.
Hey, that's as good of an endorsement as any, I think.
Agreed.
Anything else you wanted to chat about before we wrap up?
Not for me. Did you have anything else to add? I feel like you'd been popping around to some different games, but we can leave that for another time.
Like what other games besides the ones I've mentioned?
You tried Cyberpunk. You spent some time doing some character development with Cyberpunk, and then what was the other one that you were playing? Kind of the older one.
Oh, Wasteland 3. I don't feel qualified to talk about Cyberpunk. I just played like an hour of it. Wasteland 3 was cool. It's like it's a CRPG, so like Baldur's Gate 3 is the most famous CRPG probably of all time. But certainly in recent memory, all the Larian games, kind of that style. And I liked Wasteland 3 a lot. I got to a point where like I stopped because I probably wanted to start again because I made some decisions that I thought were bad. I kind of wanted to redo it. So I'm going to let it sit for a bit before diving back in. But I really liked Wasteland 3. Not actually sure what developer made it, but it reminded me a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, if you like that sort of thing. Just like obviously less fancy looking cutscenes and in a completely different setting. It's like in a post-apocalyptic America. So there's like a lot of people you're fighting who are like trying to shoot rocket launchers at you and going like, we do, yippee, because they're in like Colorado. So kind of unhinged, but yeah, an interesting game.
Coloradans go yippee.
Yeah, I mean they do it different over there. That's for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I mean you've just been exploring, which is a part of the game and journey. Sometimes you just go through a exploring phase.
That's what I'm doing.
Wait to see what you pick up, and you ended up picking up, what was it, Demonschool?
Yep.
Demonschool. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that might be the end of our episode here. Thanks for sitting and listening.
Or maybe not sitting.
Or maybe not. You're right. Maybe not sitting. I usually listen to podcasts while I'm out for a walk or doing a workout. So whatever you're doing right now, I hope you're having a great time and a great day. We appreciate you listening to our journeys with gaming and the joy and experiences that they bring us. We'd love to hear about any experiences or joy that games have brought you lately. It might lead us to something we want to check out. And we also, that's what we're here for, is just sharing in joy with each other and with others. So we'd love to hear from you if you have anything you want to share with us.
How would they do it? Like they start a podcast and then we listen to it, or?
There is an contact email that you have set up somewhere.
I mean, I have an email. I have a personal email.
Oh, I thought you had like an email connected.
Indie Game Garden.
Okay. Is that the one you've mentioned before? I feel like you've mentioned something before.
Probably, but I think
if you're listening on YouTube, you can share a comment there.
For sure. Or you can email me at indiegamegarden@gmail.com. No one ever has.
Really?
On any of the podcasts I made, no one's ever emailed me. Well, people email me for the Ultimate Frisbee podcast I made because people like that Jonny Ultimate Frisbee content.
Yeah. Yep.
Gaming,
but this isn't that.
This ain't that. Thanks for listening, folks. See you next time.
Bye. Love y'all.